Far away in the distant lands, there was a village named Umudike. The sky turned warm orange as the sun began to set over the village. That fateful day, shadows grew long and dark, covering the quiet village, and the cheerful birds stopped singing. Everything felt different, almost scary, like something was hiding in the shadows. People hurried to finish their work, looking around with worried eyes. Everyone felt it, a strange warning in the air. Something big and scary was coming. In the middle of the village sat Amara, an 18-year-old girl with a very brave heart. She sat on a low stone wall, watching the sky get darker. Her heart beat faster, and her mind was full of questions. She could feel it too, the heavy, strange energy pressing down on her, calling her to something big and important. Amara was different from the other girls. Since she was young, she loved exploring the forest, feeling every sound and movement around her. She was strong and fearless. But tonight, something felt different. Some years back, Amara's parents had wanted a child so much. They prayed to the gods, asking for a child. For many years, they waited, hoping and trying different means. Finally, one day, a wise old woman came to visit Amara's mother. She has known her for her knowledge of spirits and the forest. She looked deeply into Amara's mother's eyes and said, "You will have a daughter, and she will be very special. Her name shall be Amara, for she is immortal in spirit. She will face great dangers, but cannot be defeated. For her heart is pure, and her wisdom will protect her, for she is chosen by the gods." Not long after that, Amara's mother found out she was going to have a baby. She and Amara's father were so happy. But then, something sad happened. Amara's father became very sick, and soon he passed away. Amara's mother cried and cried, but she held on to the wise woman's words. She knew that her child was special, chosen by the gods for a great purpose. As Amara grew, she showed signs of strength and bravery. She was quicker, stronger, and smarter than other children her age. Her mother often reminded her, "You are special, my child. You have a purpose, and one day you will understand." Amara held her mother's words close to her heart, giving her strength. Amara loved to climb trees and could lift heavy things beyond her age. Sometimes she would sneak off to the forest in search of rare fruits that are not common in the village. During these times, she learned the sounds of the animals, the rustle of leaves, and the snap of twigs. Even when it was dark, she didn't feel scared. She knew the forest and felt like it was part of her. Her mother warned Amara severally of the dangers in the forest and told her to stay away. For weeks now, Amara had noticed the elders whispering among themselves and a certain fear in the air as they whispered. She had asked her mother about it one morning, hoping to find answers, but her mother only gave her a soft smile and brushed her cheek. "Don't worry, my child," her mother said gently. "Some things are too big, even for the bravest hearts." But Amara couldn't let it go. She felt deep inside that something strange was happening, and that it had something to do with her. She needed to know the truth. Tonight, when everyone went to sleep, she would find out. That night, After the village became quiet, Amara slipped out of her family's hut. The cool night air filled her lungs as she walked toward the big Iroko tree in the center of the village, where the elders often met. She could hear them speaking in low voices, their words full of worry. "It has returned," Chief Obi, the oldest elder, whispered. His voice trembled. "The beast of the forest." Amara's heart skipped a beat. She had heard stories about the beast, a terrifying creature with dark fur, glowing red eyes, and sharp claws that could tear through anything. The beast wasn't just any animal. It was a creature of darkness and anger, cursed to haunt the village. But why was it here now? After all this time? Long ago, when the beast first appeared, it caused terrible harm in Umudike. Every night, it crept from the forest, destroying crops, stealing animals, and frightening everyone. Many brave warriors tried to fight it, but no one could defeat it. No one except a warrior named Udo. Udo was a strong and fearless hunter, chosen by the gods to protect the people. But Udo knew he couldn't beat the beast with only his strength. So, he prayed to the gods for help. After many days of searching, he found an ancient altar hidden deep in the forest. He realized that this altar held powerful magic, strong enough to trap the beast. With courage and patience, he led the beast to the altar, using the power of the gods to bind it with glowing symbols. The beast was trapped, and peace returned to Umudike. But now, somehow, the beast was free again, hungrier than ever. The elders spoke softly, worry filling their faces. "We have to do something," one elder said, his voice shaking. "If we don't, the beast will destroy us." Chief Obi shook his head sadly. "But who is brave enough to face it?" he asked, looking around at the other elders. Amara's heart pounded as she listened. She felt a fire rising inside her, filling her with courage. How could they just sit back and let fear win? This was her home, her family, and she couldn't stand by and do nothing. Stepping out from the shadows, Amara stood before the elders, her eyes full of determination. "I will go," she said, her voice strong and clear. The elders looked at her in shock. Chief Obi whispered, "Amara, you are still young. How can you face such a monster?" But Amara stood tall, remembering her mother's words. "I may be young," she said, "but I am strong. If no one else will go, then I will." The elders exchanged worried glances, their faces filled with fear. Chief Obi sighed, his shoulders heavy with sadness. "Very well, Amara," he said softly. "If you are so determined, we cannot stop you. But remember, the beast is very dangerous. Many have tried to fight it, and none have returned." The elders handed her a spear, a knife, and a small pouch of protective herbs. But Amara knew she would need more than these things. She would need courage, wisdom, and the spirit given to her by the gods themselves. As the first light of dawn touched the sky, Amara began a journey into the forest. Villagers gathered to watch her go, their faces showing both fear and hope. They knew this journey was dangerous, but they also knew that if anyone could succeed, it would be Amara. The forest was dark and quiet, with tall trees towering above her. Every sound seemed louder: the snap of a twig, the rustle of leaves, the distant call of an animal. But Amara did not turn back. Her heart was strong, and her spirit was steady. As she walked deeper, the forest seemed to come alive. Strange shadows moved, but Amara kept her spear close, staying alert. Suddenly, she saw a pair of red eyes watching her from the bushes. Eyes red as though they had flames in them. It was a large, wild animal, ready to pounce, but Amara held her ground, gripping her spear tightly. She stood tall, staring the animal down until it backed away into the darkness. Deeper into the forest, she faced a thick, thorny bush blocking her path. The thorns were sharp, but Amara pushed through, not letting anything stop her. She knew her village needed her, and she would not turn back. After many hours of walking, she finally reached a clearing where the ancient altar stood, covered in strange, glowing symbols, and there, in the shadows, was the beast. It was bigger and scarier than she had imagined. With red eyes blazing as it stared at her, Amara felt her heart race, but she did not move. The beast rose up, growling. "Do you think you can defeat me, little one?" Its voice deep and full of anger. Amara looked back at the beast, her grip tight on her spear. "I am here to protect my village, and I will stop you," she said firmly. The beast laughed, a sound that rumbled through the ground. Many have tried, all have failed, but Amara was not like others. She remembered how Hudo had used the power of the altar to trap the beast before. She realized she could use the magic too, if she was brave and quick. Her eyes moved to the altar, the symbols glowing softly. She reached into her pouch, taking out the dried herbs the elders had given her. Crushing them in her hands, she felt a warm energy flow through her. Without a second thought, she threw the herbs onto the altar, and the symbols began to shine brightly, filling the clearing with light. The beast roared, sensing the power. It lunged at her, but Amara leaped out of the way just in time. The beast crashed into the altar, and the ancient magic surged forward, wrapping around it like invisible chains. The beast thrashed and growled, but the magic held it tight. Slowly, it began to fade, its dark body turning into shadows. Amara watched as the beast disappeared, her body shaking with exhaustion. She had done it. She had saved her village using her courage and clever mind. As the first rays of sunlight broke through the trees, she turned and began the long walk back to Umudike. When she returned, the villagers gathered around her, their faces filled with awe and joy. Her mother hugged her tightly, tears of happiness in her eyes, and the elders bowed their heads in respect. From that day on, Amara was celebrated as the bravest heart in Umudike. Her story was told to children for generations, teaching them that true courage means facing your fears with strength and love. Amara had become a legend, a shining example of the courage that protected her village from the darkness. Thank you for watching today's story. If you enjoyed it, please like and share with your loved ones. And let me know what you learned in the comment section. I always enjoy hearing from you all. Until next time, bye.